The scene is the container after it has been offloaded from the ship or whatever instrument it came in. So it's not the ship itself, it is the individual container once it has been offloaded and you discover illicit drugs in it. Is that the scene?
That's correct, Commissioner. In this circumstances, obviously it's at the warehouse. So after the container was offloaded from the vessel at the docks, it is then transported to a specific container warehouse or a depot, and then from there it is disseminated further or unpacked. So that is the crime scene. It is at the warehouse, which is a controlled environment.
The scene is not the warehouse itself, it is the container.
Indeed, initially, Commissioner, but then depending on the space that you need to effectively deal with crime scene management principles will dictate where you set the boundaries and cordon off the area where you restrict movement of individuals.
Thank you, General. We're now at paragraph 50.
According to the protocol and the national instruction, the DPCI officers ought to have contacted a crime scene examiner from LCRC. As indicated earlier, the FSL is contacted where the crime scene is a clandestine drug laboratory. In this instance, the LCRC had to be contacted. According to the version recorded in the factual report prepared by Major General Sonona on 9 November 2021, the DPCI officers stated that they called FSL, Forensic Science Laboratory, on the standby number in order to attend the scene, but FSL stated that they could not attend because it was not a clan lab scenario. This is correct. FSL should not have been contacted. The factual report is attached to the information note prepared by Lieutenant General T.C. Mosekedi in January 22, who was the Deputy National Head of the DPCI at the time. This information note with annexures is attached and marked as HFF4.
Who was in charge of this operation at the dock when the bust was made?
It was Colonel Jacob, was the most senior officer. So obviously he assumes responsibility and take control and command of the scene, Commissioner.
And did he have experience in crime scene management? Was it the first bust that he was involved with, to your knowledge?
By no means, Commissioner, extremely experienced. The colleague by then was the team leader for the narcotics team or the SANEP team at Durban Serious Organized Crime Investigation, and he subsequently became the commander.
Thank you.
So he's very experienced.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Commissioner. General, we will deal with the information note as well later. Can we then deal with paragraph 51?
There is no explanation why LCRC was not contacted. The officers indicate that photographs were taken by them at the crime scene. The photographs must be taken by the LCRC crime scene examiner, who must prepare a report thereafter. No fingerprints were uplifted and no DNA collected. This would have had to be done by the LCRC crime scene examiner. Furthermore, the exhibits had to be sealed at the crime scene, but was only done after the cocaine was transported and stored in Port Shepstone.
General, based on your testimony as to how things ought to have unfolded, everything seems to have gone wrong here. Do you want to just tell us your knowledge of the expertise of the people that were involved here, the officers that were involved here? I'm just trying to understand why everything would have gone wrong. I understand you may possibly have some reluctance to comment on the expertise or lack of it
Well,
of your colleagues, but the reality is, based on your testimony, everything went wrong. So
Indeed.
I'm trying to understand in my mind why that is so, or why that was so. So do you have any views as to why everything went wrong?
Chairperson, what I can perhaps provide to assist the Commission is that right from inception, when we start with our training in the college, we get exposure to how to deal with crime scenes. And whether it is a drug seizure, a major drug seizure, whether it's a murder case, whether it's a cash-in robbery incident, the principles remain the same. So whether you are experienced or inexperienced, obviously you can make mistakes as a junior member. But from the knowledge that I have is that the colleagues that were present at this crime scene under the supervision of Colonel Jacob were all experienced. There was no need for things to go wrong. And I believe further in my evidence, I will also address some of these aspects, Commissioners.
Are you aware if any disciplinary steps, assuming there's no criminal conduct on the part of the officers involved, are you aware if, and let me not say disciplinary because that may be a wrong word, training, further training, steps to reinforce? And even that, Chair, I'm reluctant to use. What I'm really looking for is if there are processes in place and those processes were not followed, steps to either reinforce, in other words, train people to ensure that these things don't happen again, or if it's serious enough, then consequence management, either in the form of discipline or some other steps. Are you aware in this specific case, and we're only confining ourselves to the movement of the exhibits, not yet the storage, are you aware that any steps were taken?
According to my knowledge, no steps were initiated, Commissioners, and I'm not aware of follow-up workshopping or training that took place to empower colleagues within that space. But training and workshopping is ongoing processes. We have a program in SAPS where colleagues of all ranks are exposed to different types of training, of which the most important perhaps for a detective is the resolving of crime, or the ROC course, where detectives are extensively exposed to the processes that needs to be followed to ensure that the integrity of crime scenes and investigations are upheld.
Thank you, Commissioners. General, can I just ask you to go back to page 16